What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. If it's your first time to the channel, make sure y'all subscribe. If you're back with us, make sure you like. If you're new to the channel while you're watching this video, if you find some information that's good to you, make sure you also put a like for us down on that video. Make sure we earn it first, though. With that being said, let's jump right into it. I want to talk to y'all about some of the stuff that I've been uncovering. Y'all know I always do the research and try to tie stuff together. What I've been looking at basically right now is currencies of the world, how they're changing. I released a video yesterday where like, I know y'all know about it. Cat Williams put out this video that everybody been going crazy about. But I mentioned how in my last video he was talking about gold, and it kind of went over everybody's head when it comes to gold, how to move, how to build wealth, and how to reinvest in yourself. But for today's video, I want to show y'all that while that's going on, other stuff is going on in the world when it comes to gold and finance, and a lot of people are missing it. This stuff is being set up, has been set up over years, and now it's starting to all unfold and to go into place. And I want to just show you guys what I mean by this. I want to try to go in reverse chronological order, starting with from the most recent, going back to what, to my knowledge, kind of started this in the most recent history. So Morgan Stanley rates uh, downgrades their rating on the U.S. dollar, going from bullish to neutral, meaning that they aren't necessarily for it, they aren't necessarily against it. They're just kind of going to watch it because they don't believe it's going to continue to go up the way that they've thought so in the past. They were bullish, meaning they used to think that it was going to go up, and it has over the past few years. But right now, they're turning their course, they're pivoting, basically saying that they believe that the dollar is going to not grow as much as it's compared to other countries' currencies, like it's done in the past. All right, this happened on today's Saturday. This happened on yesterday, January 5th. So the U.S. dollar just got downgraded. U.S. dollar getting downgraded. That's suspicious. Before I get to the next story, I want to do a quick preface on the big three credit ratings, credit reporting agencies. I'm not talking about like personal credit for people, but more so for banks and governments. We just talked about Morgan Stanley. They're not in these big three, but the big three are known as, let's see here, SP Global Rating or S&P, Moody's, and Fitch. Keep those names in the back of your mind. S&P Global Rating, Moody's, and Fitch are the big three credit reporting agencies. Now I'm going to continue with this timeline. All right, jumping into 2024. Also last week, the first week of 2024, the BRICS nations, which was originally Brazil, Russia, India, China, South America. I mean, not South America, South Africa. Originally, these countries were have joined together to form the BRICS groups, where they've been doing like trade, coming up with deals, and working together. Back in August of last year, August of 2023, the BRICS nations came together. They came together for a summit. I thought it would be on here. They came together for a summit in August of 2023. Here it is. They came together for this summit, and they basically announced their plans, had a conference about how they would be expanding, and they agreed to let in, I think, 5 or 6 new countries. One of those countries being Iran. What we're seeing now is that Iran is suggesting to the BRICS nation that they should form a collective currency, which is what everybody has been expecting, but we've just been waiting to see actual proof of it. But let's see here. Who's the guy? Iran's deputy foreign minister, Moody Safari. We are interested in creating a unified currency in the BRICS group. By using a national currency, the process of eliminating the use of the dollar in commercial exchanges begins. Very, very interesting stuff. So we see that the dollar is being downgraded. We see that a whole group of countries outside of the Eastern world, outside of the Western world, a whole group of the Middle Eastern and Southern countries have come together to basically form an alliance, and now they're talking about creating a dominant world currency that could rival the U.S. dollar. Let's keep on moving forward with this. So Iran is going to be in BRICS. We talked about BRICS basically growing. Going back to December of 2023, last year. S&P, which is only a month ago. The S&P Global Rating, mind you, this is the one of the big three credit reporting agencies that we just talked about. They downgraded stable coin stability. Stable coins are going to be some of the crypto coins that are believed to be matched one-to-one to the US dollar. That's why they're considered or called stable coins. As far as the coins that they're telling people to watch out, let me see if I can zoom in on this for y'all to see. And I hate if I'm moving fast, y'all come back through and check the video. There's a lot of information, and I don't want to make this video too long. DIA. I'm not the biggest on cryptocurrencies and stuff, but a lot of this stuff I am familiar with. Friend of mine, if you're interested in cryptocurrency, Curse of Crypto goes all into details, but I'm just going to go through this right quick. DIA, according to S&P, they're constrained. First Digital USD, constrained. Frax, FRAX, weak. Gemini dollar. I've heard of Gemini coins and Gemini dollars. They said there are two. They're considered to be strong. Pax dollar. I know that Pax dollar is tied to like metals. I think it's gold, possibly silver. They're considering them to be strong. Tether, which I've been warning people about for a few years now. I do not trust Tether. This is my personal opinion. Don't know anything about the company fully, just my personal opinion. Tether's on this list as constrained. True USD, haven't heard of them. Weak. USD coin, strong. USD coin is also known as USDC. I do hear Curse of Crypto talk about that one a lot. So kudos to him for mentioning one of the ones that are strong. But I would say definitely keep an eye on DAI, Dow, and I've heard of that too. Keep an eye on Dow, First Digital, USD. Keep an eye on Frax, and keep an eye on Tether. In another video in the future, I got a feeling I'm going to end up coming back to this. But S&P Global, that's one of the three credit ratings, back in December, basically gave a warning when it comes to crypto. Next article. Like I said, we're going in reverse chronological order. December of 2023, 2 months ago. Excuse me. Moody's, this is the second of the three credit reporting agencies, moved to negative. They moved the U.S. credit rating to negative, citing large federal deficits. So basically, they're saying because of the deficits inside of the United States, because of the amount of money that we owe, the way that we have not been able to repay, the amount of interest we've racked up on all of our debt, that they're basically downgrading the U.S. Credit rating. Let me change my view. You guys' view of me right quick so we can keep this going. Dang it, slight change, Let's see here. So we got the S&P, one of three, Moody's, 2 of 3. Let's see what's going on next. I know it's like the halfway point in the video, but if y'all tuned in, thanks for watching. I want to show y'all some of the other stuff in the channel. Real soon, I got another video that I got coming for y'all. I want to do a gun review on a gun that I find to be super sweet, something I really like, and it shoots the 5.7 ammo. If you don't know what the 5.7 ammo is, it's almost like a small 223. So it's almost like a rifle cartridge that goes into a handgun. This one right here is made by Palmetto State Armory. I know y'all probably heard of the FN 5.7. Maybe if you heard of the Ruger 5.7, but this is an alternative that I really want to get into, and I'm going to talk to y'all about this on the next video. With that being said, let's keep it going. And as you guys could have expected, Fitch, the third of the three credit reporting agencies, is also downgrading the US's credit rating from a AAA rating down to an AA plus rating. Let's see if I can find out real quickly why this is done, why they did this. Here we go. Citing fiscal deterioration over the next 3 years. So according to Fitch, as of when was this done? As of August of last year, let's just say about 6 months ago, they're saying that for the next 3 years, they're expecting basically the U.S. to go through a period where their credit rating is going to take a hit, and fiscal deterioration because of their debt ceiling, repeated negotiations when it comes to the debt ceiling. And if you guys know, over the past few years, really over the past decade, over the past 30 years, if I'm not mistaken, the debt ceiling has just been getting pushed, and we just keep kicking the can down the road to the point where we're starting to get it out of control. So as a result, we have credit reporting agencies such as Fitch now downgrading our rating because they see that it's going to become harder for us as a nation to actually repay the debt that we owe. We're closer to collapsing. We keep extending the budget without actually paying down the budget. Like I said, this is August of last year, less than 6 months ago. All right, the thing that's going to tie this all together for you guys is going to be the Basel III. If you don't know what the Basel III is, the Basel III is a conference that takes place in Basel, Switzerland. It's where the International Bank of Settlement, they have a committee that comes together. The International Bank of Settlement is basically the bank of major banks. These banks come together, kind of decide rules that they feel are going to be best for money movement and currency movement throughout the world. So there's been 3 meetings so far. Let me scroll down to Basel III and why the Basel III took place. That's all I really need you guys to see right now is why it took place. Basel III, as you see right here, was a response to the Great Recession, the 07-08 financial crisis. All right, and knowing that Basel III was a response to the financial crisis, I now want to show you guys what was the main ruling that everybody's watching when it comes to Basel III. The main things that came out of Basel III, in my opinion, was number one, banks for the most part were required to have a certain amount of actual assets on hand for the actual money that they're saying that they have. What I mean by that is typically they'll say they have a certain amount of gold, they say they have a certain amount of money, but it's actually out in loans or borrowed out to someone. According to the Basel standards, the Basel III standards, banks now have to actually have a certain amount of that those assets, certain amount of assets on their balance sheet there to actually back up what they say that they have. And for the most part, these are going to have to be, if I'm not mistaken, tier 1 assets. This meeting also slightly redefined what tier 1 assets are. Tier 1 assets over the past, historically speaking, with Basel, all the way up to Basel III, has been like US dollars, US treasuries. For the Basel III, and I want to say when this took, like I said, this whole meeting took place in 2010 after the Great Recession. They basically said that we're now going to include gold as a tier 1 asset, just like US dollars. And by 2020, well, they end up changing the dates, but the date for implementation ended up being January 1st of 2023, which was last year. So by the beginning of last year, all of these banks had to make sure they had at least a certain amount of tier 1 assets to back up what they say that they have. So over the past year, you see a lot of banks buying gold and things like that because they are required by these Basel III requirements dealing with the banks of international settlements to have more of these assets on hand. I just showed you guys how the price of the dollar is expected to go down. The value of the dollar is expected to go down. The U.S. ratings are going down. So instead of keeping U.S. treasuries, instead of keeping U.S. dollars, a lot of companies are trying to back up what they're saying that they have with gold, which is why you've seen the price of gold rise over the past year or so, especially rising back up after the beginning of 2023. Also, you notice Basel III, the meeting itself took place in 2010, which is around the last time period in which metals began to hit their highs. Being that Basel III was extended, I'm willing to bet that it has something to do with the reason why metals prices went down. Now that Basel III was implemented in January of 23, notice how gold prices have risen back up. But like I said, Basel III made it so that gold is a tier 1 asset. And this is happening while we're also seeing the other tier 1 asset, the dollars, U.S. treasuries, starting to be downgraded. The purpose, what is this? And yeah, This is when it has to be implemented as of January 1st of last year. The purpose of me showing you guys is because if I show you the order, gold being considered a tier one asset with the dollar slow in the United States, credit slowly going down following. What do you guys think the next step is going to be? Comment down below. Especially if you disagree with me, comment down below. Even if you don't disagree, because I want to have a conversation just to see what you guys think. I personally think that the next step, if they have another Basel meeting, even if they don't have another Basel meeting, I think the next step is for the U.S. dollar to be downgraded to being below a tier one asset. If that happens, even if it doesn't happen within the international bank settlements, I feel like if the BRICS nations go hard enough at creating an opposition or an alternative currency, not just a currency, but a currency that's used by such a huge population of people, that's traded by a huge population of people, with the BRICS being so many countries. If they are to create that, I could see the dollar in the near future being kicked down from its tier one status, gold being the only tier one status asset, which will potentially cause it to rise a whole lot, which is the same thing that happened back around 2007, 2008 when Basel was originally initiated. I really want you guys to ponder on this video. I mean, I could definitely be wrong. Let me know what you guys think.